This is Sal from Sworn Enemy.
This is Jeff from Sworn Enemy, and you're watching Bloodlines on Sinestra Studios.
Yeah.
I've been taken for granted, the last fucking time. Patience of the same now, I'm breaking inside. How many times must the connect?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Gabriel Soto here for Bloodlines. Another episode coming to you, number 2. That's right, dose for my rock and roll and heavy metal aficionados out here in New York City and across the world. We are here in Central Park, the heart of Manhattan, and I am bringing you another borough. Yeah, I know, I'm not in Queens today, but I should be. But right now, we're gonna take it over, give you our favorite hardcore act, Sworn Enemy, and I got a nice little album review for you. They just came out with an album 2 weeks ago called Living on Borrowed Time. I got that review for you, and I got an up-close interview with Sal Lococo and Jeff Cummings. And right now, we're gonna take you to that interview. Check it out. And right over here, live at the Black and Blue Bowl, we have Sal and Jeff from Sworn Enemy. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
What's going on, Derek? How's everything?
Hey,
man?
how you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. The fact that we know each other just kind of kills the whole, salutations and stuff like that, but that's beside the point. We're out here right now at Waterbury and Messerol here in Brooklyn, and yeah, you guys got a brand new album out. I mean, Jesus Christ, Living on Borrowed Time. Tell us about that, will you?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, it just came out this Tuesday, so this is kind of like a CD release party of sorts, in New York. And how could you do it better than Black and Blue Bowl? You got Hatebreed, Biohazard, Agnostic Front, All Out War, Brick by Brick.
I think of a better show to fucking have a record release party on.
Really, I mean, we were trying to think of something, and this just kind of came about, and it fell on the proper date, the Saturday after the album dropped.
Right.
So you really couldn't ask for more.
I definitely feel you on that. It was a perfect opportunity for you guys, so I mean, whoever planned it, obviously you guys. Your phone's ringing too.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Oh,
all right. Speaking of professional, what I want to ask you is, how does this new album, this is what, it's been 5 years pretty much, since 2009.
Yeah.
Yep, when you did Total World Domination.
Yep.
How does that one compare, and how does it really switch off from the last album?
Well, for me personally, I'm not really trying to compare it to past records. I just wanted it basically to sound like it was in the vein of Sworn Enemy, I mean, me singing on it, obviously it's going to sound like Sworn Enemy, but I wanted the music to be Sworn Enemy sound. Like, people pick up this record and they listen to it and they go like, oh shit, these guys haven't missed a beat, you know what I'm saying? That's what I was really wanting.
You wanted to keep the originality in.
Absolutely. I didn't want to lose the integrity of the band. I wanted it to remain Sworn Enemy in sound and everything. And, I can't complain. It's definitely Sworn Enemy record.
Yeah,
man.
it's a beauty of a record. I mean, I'll tell you that much. I got my copy Tuesday night at a listening party at 3 Cups, and I threw that on Wednesday, and I was in heaven. I mean, it's an angry piece of music, and it's a good piece of music.
Yeah, I have to agree, man. I have to agree.
I know you have to agree. You did the album. Come on now. Being the fact that you've been in it since the very beginning, you're pretty much the Gandalf of this band right here.
Wow, I'm old. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
no, well, not really. Not in a logical standpoint, but you get the
busted.
idea. I know you're doing that on purpose. How do you think you've evolved as a singer and a musician? I mean, you've been the front man for around going on 16 years. Has anything changed or evolved in terms of as the albums were coming out?
I put on more weight since the first one.
Besides the weight problem.
Nah, I always do things the same way. I'm one of those people that if it ain't broken, don't try to fix it. So that's how I operate. The only difference with this record was, that my other guitar player, Matt Garzilli, had a lot of input on the lyrics. Like, I was going through some tough times, and he stepped up big time and helped me with, I'd say, at least 40% of the lyrics on this record. So it was different having someone else there to help me with that, as opposed to in the past where I've been 100% solely the writer of everything. So that was a nice change for me.
Nice change of pace.
Of course, I didn't have to stress. I didn't have to go crazy, trying to get shit done when I was under the gun. And like I said, I went through some hard times at that when I probably held the record back 6 months to a year. It would have been out last year at this time if it wasn't because of some of the shit that I was going through. So, having him there to help me with it, it was big, really big.
And the whole hardcore scene for me was new. It was completely new to me. I was born in '87. So I missed out on it altogether, and completely altogether. As you guys have been in it, you know, since '99, and this, of course, is your first album, as you just mentioned. Do you feel the collective hardcore community has shifted its from its roots? I mean, compared to what the old guys used to have. I mean, I remember, you know, you guys were playing shows at Coney Island High. You had CBGBs, you had Lemore's, you had those places, and now those places are gone. But I mean, not only with the venues being gone, but you know, the veterans are getting older. I mean, you know, it's taking longer for.
Well, everything goes in cycles, you know. I mean, hardcore definitely is, the sound is not. I mean, you still have your traditional hardcore sounding bands, of course. You know, there's always going to be AF, Madball, you know, Death Before Dishonor, Terror. You're going to always have those bands, but now there's more of like the new thing that the hardcore sound is kind of like almost like Cannibal Corpse's type of sound with the singers, you know, breakdowns, but then like some death metal and like high-pitched screaming and then low growling. So I mean, the music is evolving.
There's definitely been an evolution then.
Absolutely. There's definitely been an evolution in the music, but you know, there's always going to be the traditional bands. There's always going to be the bands that have that sound that, you know, is going to be like quote unquote hardcore. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely feel you on that. My other thing that has always boggled my mind is how a lot of hardcore acts are going international and are doing a lot of shows out there. Do you see yourselves going out towards Europe and playing shows out there soon enough? I mean, you have a tour coming up. You're doing Canada literally tomorrow, you know, on the 18th, and then you got a couple of the show dates here in the States. But do you feel that shift for New York hardcore music in general, has pretty much focused their demographic all in Europe?
Well, you know, Europe doesn't seem to be jaded when it comes to music. They are very open to a lot of things, and especially to bands like us, you know. And we always go to Europe and have a great time. There's always great shows. Tons of people always come out, and that's the one thing that I miss about the States. It's so hard to get people to come to the shows these days, you know. It's like they have 20,000 tours coming through in their town, and they got to pick and choose which one they want to go to. Yeah. And a lot of people, you know, they can like, oh, I'll just catch it on YouTube, yeah. Or, yeah. You know.
Unless it's a stacked bill of like 10 bands that they want to see, they're going to, I'll get it again next time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. There's been a lot of pick and choose. I mean, economically, you know, and there's also, you know, the whole thing going on with factions. You know, people want to stay loyal to the bands that they've been supporting all those years, right. And they really don't want to branch out to other people. I mean, do you see that in the hardcore community? Do you see like a unity where people are just with the bands, or do they spread out and give the mutual respect that, you know? Everybody
has their own thing. There's some people that like to stick with what they know, and then there's some people that like to give the new ones a try. You know, it depends on the person, I guess.
Just like when most of the genres out there.
Exactly, you know. I mean, there's always the people that stick with us and don't want to go travel into other places to see other bands. Hey, I love them just as much as the new people that come and check us out for the first time, you know. I give props to everyone that comes and supports the underground scene and keeps that shit going, because without them, I mean...
This is nothing without them, exactly. Pretty much. Of course.
A done deal.
No band is anything without fans. They're the ones buying merch. They're the ones coming out, paying to come see the band. Without that, bands can't tour. I mean, you know, absolutely. It's gas money, just traveling expenses, having to eat. Yeah, you know, it's
especially in this day and age when, you know, the time of label support is pretty much done. Yep. If you're not a big band, bringing them in dough, they're not going all out for you. They're not gonna, you know, give you the tour support that you need to survive on the road. It's not like that anymore. It used to be once upon a time, but the times have changed now. Yeah. The record industry and the music industry.
Not to mention the internet. I mean, that's changed a lot too for music.
Of course. That's totally changed the demographics of music. I mean, it sucks, unfortunately, but this is our time. And we got to make the best of what we got.
And we're back, and I got to ask you a question. What happens when an entire band drops off and takes 5 years to come back? You don't know? You really don't freaking know. 'Cause I'll tell you what you should know. It's called living on borrowed time. Now, Sal Lococo, the lead singer of Sworn Enemy, is the only original founding member still with the band. And since 1999 to 2014, that's going on 16 years, never has an entire band roster switched completely with brand new members like Jeff Cummings and Matt Grizzelli on guitars, Mike Buch on bass, and Danny LaMagna on drums, and come back and do something this strong as I have ever heard in New York hardcore music. You want to talk about thorough and beautiful? This is it. Now, talking to Sal, he wanted to keep the originality of the band back intact and the original sound that hardcore is. He did that. And I tell you, when you got two of the best singles to come out in hardcore in a while, Hard Way and Do or Die, there's no loss at all. There's no loss of composition. There's no loss of quality. It's fantastic. So you got that, and Channel Love for one of my other favorite songs, Never Forget. That breakdown at the end of that song is just two beasts. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece of material. And for a refresh to this band, it was much deserved. Now, and I say that completely because 2009, back when they did Total World Domination, was too thrashy. It was going towards a thrash metal feel. I was digging it, but it felt like they lost their way. Now they're back 5 years later. They pulled off this album, and it's completely perfect. It's worth listening to. It's worth catching, believe me. And if you got a chance to catch them live, do that. But be careful because the pits are nasty. They probably aren't Brooklyn material, but I'll tell you, they get some of the nastiest mosh pits I've seen, and they're a damn good representation of New York hardcore. So I want you to go check out Sworn Enemies Living on Borrowed Time. It is out right now in the United States, and it's out in Europe on Rock Ridge Entertainment. And on that note, I'm done with this episode. I'm going to enjoy this beautiful day. And hopefully, you'll be able to enjoy the rest of your day and got the information you needed to check this band out. So I will see you guys on the flip side, all my rock and roll and metal aficionados. Take care. I'm gone. Peace.